Hey, listen, you guys, if you can, it's not a requirement, just like Gary's mastermind. We have to have the cameras on. I'm not going to make you do that if you weren't prepared for it. It just makes it a lot easier for me to talk to and us to dialogue. I feel like, my grandmother, God rest her soul, maybe go to church all the time, and now she might be smiling down from heaven as I seem to be preaching to you guys every week. So I'd like you to share in the sermon duties. I always like to start welcoming everybody, you guys on Facebook Live and those that are on the live feed here via Zoom. Thanks so much. I'm Danny Grimes, Naples, Fort Myers. And this is basically the role play segment. And sometimes every now and then we have a celebrity role play. I love to do role play. And for those that haven't heard me say this before, and I'm talking to Sunny. Sunny, who's my director of growth. Wave, Sunny, say hello to everyone. She's my co-host.
Hello.
Yep. And she is awesome on the phone. She's doing a great job of building up our team and getting them into structured activity. And one of the things I'm thinking about, Sunny, is sometimes, as we practice, and I'm giving some wisdom to the gang here who have script partners and role play partners, et cetera, or might be leading a team, is that maybe we would, I guess the question is, if we have 4 days of role play, do we do 4 different scenarios, or do we do a scenario repetitively until we hone it? It's kind of like watching the football plays, like run it again, run it again, run it again. If we can't do, off tackle up the middle, right? Well, forget about the Statue of Liberty. So, oh yeah, it's a webinar. You can't be on camera. Thanks so much for that, Sunny. So anyway, hey, David, welcome, Al, you guys. So anyway, Sunny, maybe we ought to make sure they get 1 down. And then maybe we just work on 2 for a week. So I'm just suggesting you guys, if you do not have a script partner and a role, this is kind of good for role play. Scripting is just reading it over and over again. So who's going to come to the table? I've got some things I've written down here that I've come across over the last week that we can talk about. What do you guys have? What experiences do you have that you would like to talk about? And we can strategize together role play using question-based, listening-enhanced, conversational scripts. Who's going to be the brave one that get automatically entered into the free trip to Greece?
Okay, I'll go.
David, you're a lifesaver, my friend.
Yeah. So I'll give you the scenario. I'm calling an expired listing.
Right.
A very common objection we get from expireds is, why are you calling me now? I was 6 months on the market. You could have shown my house. You could have brought me buyers. There's plenty of other realtors who brought buyers. Why are you calling me now?
All right. Get that. In fact, you guys, that is one of the top 5 objections you're going to get as working on expires. Now, where are my past boldies out there that remembers at least the outline of the bold script? Where were you when my agent had it listed? Anyone? Even if you kind of know a little bit of it. All right. Going once, going twice.
I would say because your agent didn't market to me.
That's the essence of it, Benita. That's the essence of it. It kind of goes like this, David. Well, do you know, I understand, I appreciate the question. Do you know, in order for an agent to sell a home, let's say I don't have it memorized, so I don't use it every day. In order for an agent to sell a home, he has to actually sell it twice. Would you like to know what I mean, David?
Yeah, sure.
Before you can sell your house to a buyer, he first has to sell the house to the real estate agents to solicit their participation in getting your house sold. And quite frankly, your agent never sold it to me. Do you think that might be part of the problem?
Okay, can I give you a pushback on this?
You bet. I mean, I love pushback. I'm married.
You see, this listing, it hits the market. It's out there. It's on every it's on every website. It's all over the place, advertised. I mean, why would you have to sell it to my agent? He knows, he checks his MLS every day. He should, if he's a good agent, he should know about your house.
Yes, sir. All right. So, David, do you know how many listings either change status or come on the market each and every day?
How many?
I don't know the answer to you. We probably have probably eight with all the listings, including land, we probably have 16,000 listings that are on our MLS. So probably 1,000, 500 to 1,000 changes in our MLS a day.
Okay.
So let me ask you then, would you want your agent just studying the computer and looking for changes or out attempting to get your home sold?
Well, I'd expect my agent to know the local marketplace, at least what's out there. And, I just don't understand why you have to advertise it to my agent. If he's a good agent and he's working here in the local marketplace, he should have known about your house.
While you're talking to me, I'm calling you. You're the expired, correct?
Yeah.
So, so here's the thing. I'm just calling because I see your house it's come off the market. Are you still interested in selling it?
Yes, I do.
Well, if I wasn't aware of it, do you think there's maybe some other agents that weren't aware of it?
Yeah, that's possible.
So would you, now notice you didn't call me, right? I called you.
Right.
Does that not suggest I'm proactive about building my business and finding buyers and sellers and hooking up buyers and sellers?
Yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is the reason you didn't show my house is because you weren't aware that I'm on the market?
Well, if I'd have had a buyer in that specific time frame, I had no hesitation of selling your house. However, in your price point, there are a lot of different homes. So let me ask you, other than the fact you think that, are you going to sell your house again?
Yes, I'm looking for an agent to put it back on the market soon.
Okay, so then every agent that comes and calls on you, if they've never showed their home, your house during the past listing, would that disqualify them to be your listing agent?
Maybe it doesn't disqualify, but I would ask them the same question. How come they didn't show my house? And they're all calling me now.
Okay, so if you're going to list, here's your three choices. You list with your current listing agent. Is that a possibility?
No, I'm going to pick a different agent.
Okay, then you have two choices. You're going to list with someone who's shown your house or someone who hasn't shown your house. Will that be the main criteria? Hang on, I'm talking now. Will that be the main criteria for you to select your agent?
Yeah, one of the two probably, yeah.
Well, you have to be one of the two. However, if an agent, how many showings did you have?
Over a 6-month period, we had maybe 14 showings.
Okay. So then you're either going to have to select one of those 14 that maybe showed it once, or the 3,000 agents that didn't show it.
Right.
Are you going to disqualify me because I didn't show it?
Maybe not. I'll be more prone to pick one of the agents that brought a buyer to show my house.
Okay, so they brought a buyer to show your house, and then in their sum total of their real estate experiences, they've sold one house in a year. I've sold 250. Does that make them a better real estate agent for you because they showed your house?
No, probably you sound more professional if you sold 250 and they only one.
So do you want to hire the best agent for your home, or you just want to limit it to the 14 people that showed your house that did not sell it?
I want somebody who knows how to sell houses.
Well, why don't we meet? I'm available today or tomorrow would be better. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to basically, have the whole conversation on the phone. However, here's the deal, you guys. That's just changing the base. The base was, why didn't you show it? Then you break it down with a series of questions like, okay, and I broke it down into, he's got three choices. And I asked him, are you going to relist with your current agent? No. Then he has two choices. He's going to list with the people who showed it or people who didn't. And so what you want to do is whatever issue they have, you just kind of want to ask the questions, kind of break it down. And it's a fair question. I mean, sellers must study, expired listings must take a class, and they get a license because they come up with the same 5 objections. So if you guys have taken bold, go back into your bold notebook or talk to somebody that's in your class, because this was out of classic bold, and look in their notebooks because they list the top 5 objections for sale by owner and an expired. And if you understand how to at least step into those objections, you'll have, that'll be 90% of the objections they may be covering. Any thoughts on that? Anybody else want to add to that? Maybe you guys call expires.
Can I give you a different approach? You tell me what do you think about that approach?
Sure.
Okay, so you're, I'm the agent, right? I'm calling you now. You're the expired,
Yep.
and you're asking me, why am I calling you now? How come I didn't show your house?
Okay, now here's the rules. You guys gonna I can't vote because I'm I was the other contestant. So David's not gonna do it. You guys vote and let's give David some feedback. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So hey, where were you when my house was listed? I don't remember you ever coming to show my house.
Well, that's a great question then, and I'm sure you're asking this question every agent that calls you now. Here's the thing,
well,
Danny.
Not every agent.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm a listing agent, and as a listing agent, let's say I have 15 listings right now that I have to cater to and service. Would you agree that my first priority is to sell my own listings, and I can't possibly service all the expires that come every day on the marketplace? Would that make sense to you?
I lost you. So, okay. So you have, okay. Ask me one more time. Cause I think I was listening and I didn't hear what I thought I heard. One more time, David.
So I have right now 15 listings that I have to service. And, you know, when I'm taking out buyers, my first priority is to work for the sellers that hired me. And when every day we have 20, 30 expires coming on the market. So wouldn't you agree that my first priority is to take my buyers out to the people that hired me and are paying me for it?
Well, which way do you want me to answer? Okay, I'll play with you. All right. Okay, sure.
Okay, so the reason I'm calling you now, I'm just, as a listing agent, I'm trying to see how I can help you to get your house sold the same way I'm selling my clients' homes. Would you be open to a conversation and, get a different approach how to sell your home?
All right. So, hey, this is a safe group. We're here to improve. Every time that Sonny leads a role play, we say, well, what do you think you did well? What could you improve on, or where's your areas for growth? So, obviously that was your script. What did you think you did well, David?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
What do I think I did well?
Yeah. Is that how you handle that?
It's one angle. I mean, I think it's maybe a good script because, we are calling expires every day and we can't possibly show all the expires that are coming on. And the first job we have as listing agents is to cater to our own clients.
Right. Okay. You gave me a thought though. Now I'll open up to anybody else. Anybody else have a comment that could you use that? How could you plus it? Any comment on the way David approaches that?
Yeah, I think, and because I lean that direction too, the way David, his approach and his reasoning is what I'm interpreting, isn't necessarily how it came across, but I think more black and white. If I currently have listings from sellers, they're not going to want me to focus on other agents' listings. They want me to focus on their listing. And that's, if you're an expired from another agent's listing, I didn't show it because number one, didn't come up on my radar and they didn't have buyers for it. Number two, buyers I do have, I'm going to be having them look at my listings first anyway. And my focus is a listing agent to meet the needs of my sellers, not necessarily the needs of other agents' buyers.
Interesting. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Awesome. Anybody else have a comment on that? Mark, I'm sure you do.
I got in a little bit late, a few seconds after you started. Was this a call or was this an interview?
It was a call. It was a call.
So your purpose in the call is to get an appointment, correct?
Right.
So did we go into too much detail that should have been saved for the consultation?
Okay. So all right. So I get where you're going. Let's say it's at the table. Now what?
I want to go back to, have you had a consultation with them about what their motivation is?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but okay.
So I don't know that factor And
Okay.
I'm going to try and tie that in, how quickly they want to sell, whether it's top price, whether it's
Hang on, Mark. If the first thing they say when you sit down is, "Hey, look, where were you when my house was on the market? You never showed it." I don't think I'm going to want to have a conversation about motivation. I want an answer to that question.
So is there a way to defer that question? I'd be happy to answer that question. I need to ask you a question first, Mr. Grimes. Where do you plan to go when you sell this home?
I got it. Nothing wrong with that. However, because I'm going to spend one more second on this. When you finally get around to it, how will you answer it? Let's just say it doesn't go away, because a lot of times your method works because it may never come up against once they see your value proposition, right?
Right. I had a thought, and it just slipped me for a second.
So
I think the issue is that here's their concern. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Their concern is, why am I going to hire any agent if you're not out doing the job of selling houses? Why didn't you sell my house? Their concern is whether or not you're interested in selling their house, whether you're the listing agent or a buyer's agent.
Well, that's all right. So just to put an end to this one and go to the next one, I'm going to do one with Sonny here in a second. That's where I thought David was going with it. And I think, David, maybe that's where you're going. Probably you want to rehearse what you asked me, because I didn't quite understand it the first time you said it. And it might be me. If you say, listen, I am a listing agent. My time is spent getting my home exposed to all the real estate agents out there so they know about it. And my track record proves that. Isn't that what you want? Is an agent that spends their time working with their sellers to get their home sold and not out showing with buyers. That's where I thought what you were saying too, Matt and David, I thought that was the road you were kind of on.
That's the direction I would go as well. Is there are, depending in your marketplace, how many agents are there? And my job is to reach those top agents who have listed or sold properties in your area in your price range in the past 2 years, rather than the other 10,000 agents in the marketplace. So as you said, Denny, I'm focused on working on getting my listings sold.
Yes. Sonny, you were on our, thank you, Mark. You were on our call today. Do you recall us talking to Brenda? Brenda was having some issues, I think, and I made some notes that we have one of our buyer's agents that had wrote 6 offers, I think, in the last day or so. And 2 were accepted, 2 were on final and best and final, and 2 she hadn't heard back from yet. So one of the things, and this has kind of been seller focused. However, I'm getting a lot with our team and even the Zooms that I'm doing around the country, the frustration people are having with buyers. So Sonny, I want you to be a buyer that I think we kind of role played this a little bit with Brenda, and then, you know, they found a house, it was $150,000, listed $159,000, you believe it or not, right? $159,000. And I think the most they wanted to spend was, I think, what was it, 150 offer?
160.
Well, that was after we went through the role play, their initial offer.
Initial offer was 155.
Right. And here's the thing is that, okay, and you don't want to pay full price.
Correct.
You're a buyer that doesn't want to pay full price, right?
Right.
All right. So, you know, so Sonny, this house is listed. I mean, we don't have many homes with indoor plumbing in $159,000 range. Let's just change it so it's realistic. It's $350,000. And so we'll just change the number. Okay, do you like this house? Do you want to own this house?
Well, I mean, if it's meant to be, I'll own it. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, I noticed I didn't say offer. See if you can't get offer out of your vernacular. So if you want to own this house, that means are you ready to submit a contract on this house to own it?
Yes.
All right. And so now this house, you noticed it came on the market yesterday, right?
Right. I know. I'm so glad that you called me.
Yeah. And so this meets your needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you already, and I've asked you this before, and for the people on the call, you know, the meat thermometers, you know, from a buyer's position where we are right now in this market, in this price range, do you think the market's working in your favor or against you?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of inventory. You've shown us everything in our price range. So, but interest rates are low, so I don't know how to answer that. I think it's both.
Okay, well, okay. So however, have you heard the term seller market?
Mhm.
All right. So that means that basically there's more buyers than sellers. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, definitely.
So you know what? Speed is king here. So this is a home you want to buy. It's listed for $350,000. What's going to be the price you want me to put on the paperwork?
Well, we discussed it and we're gonna put in an offer for 335,000.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Is that where you anticipate buying the home, or are you attempting to open negotiations? That's a new script, you guys, that I haven't used on this. It's not new to me, may not be news to you. I hope you caught that. Like many times when I am the listing agent and you guys submit me an offer, and I've seen some ridiculous offers back in the day when I was actually accepting contracts. I will say, Mark, let me ask you a question. You know, this home's listed at 350, you're offering 300. You know how hot the market is. I'm just kind of curious. Are your buyers really expecting to buy it at 300, or are they attempting to open negotiation? It's a great question. And you know, if you're talking to an agent that doesn't have a lot of experience, they're just going to blab. Hey, I know. I told them it's worth every penny of that, and that's just the way they are. Or they're a seasoned agent like Mark, and some of you guys here on the phone, you won't give me any information. Or I might even have fun. Say, Mark, I see you're offering 300,000. What half the house don't they want? Anyway, so all right, so you're offering $330,000. Is that so, Sonny? Is that where you tend to buy the home, or is that you're attempting to open negotiations?
I mean, I think it's a really fair price. We looked at Zillow and Zillow came up with the price for us. And so, I mean, I think we're coming in right where it should be. It seems a little high.
All right, so
It's true. They say that.
I don't know if they're saying it in this market. However, you're never an easy role player. So let me just say, so, all right,
won.
so here's the thing. Here, I got another script for you guys. Write this down. This is a question. So so let me ask you a question. Now, if you're working with a buyer over and over again, now I'm assuming this is a new relationship. Maybe we have a buyer's agreement and we're early in the process. So, I mean, your conversation will grow and build on each other after they lose several houses. So let me ask you this, and this can be part of your interview questions. Sonny, let me ask this question on a scale of 1 to 10. How direct, how frank would you like me to be with you? 1 meaning, yeah, not at all, and 10 being bullseye.
10.
Okay. So the house has been on the market just yesterday, right? You like the house. What's the probability that other people are liking the house too?
Probably a lot.
Okay. And it wouldn't surprise me if the seller had multiple offers coming in already. Like, you know, I had a scenario yesterday with another buyer. There were 8 offers in the first day. Guys, is that realistic in certain price ranges? Sure. Or 4, it doesn't really matter. So here's the thing. So I just want to let you know that you're going to have, I'm being straight on, bullseye, number 10, frank with you. You've got one chance, and one chance only. There'll be no negotiations. Then she said, I don't want to pay full price. So say that.
Well, I don't want to pay full price. Nobody pays full price anymore.
So that means if you offered, now I use offer because that's used offered. So if you came in with a number $10 below asking price, would that be okay?
If I came in with a number $10 under asking,
Because you're not paying at full price.
well, I mean, I just don't want to overpay for the house. I mean, obviously, if it was $10, I would just go ahead and pay the full price.
So you don't think your arms will fall off if you pay full price, right?
No, my arms aren't going to fall off. Do you think it's a good price?
Well, I can tell you right now, with the activity level, typically in that price range, you know, that it's probably it is a good price point. So my question is, here's the thing. Now, here's where I want to go with this particular full price, because I hear it all the time, is that you don't want to, let's just stick with it. You don't want to pay full price.
Okay. I don't want to pay full price, so
Okay.
don't even go there.
So is that a hard set requirement for you?
I think so.
Well, just be hard, let it be in a requirement.
Okay, yes, I do not want to pay full price.
So I'm going to ask you if anyone has, I'll turn it over if you want to ask, who would like to ask a question, because I can take this forward. We've all had people get balled up over full price. Typically it's because that might be their MO. They might be afraid their parents are going to like be so disappointed in them, or they're letting their dad down or something because they're paying full price. Who has a great question to ask now based on this scenario? Well, here's the thing.
I'll go.
All right. Is that Rossi?
Mark,
Oh, hey, Mark. Okay. Two of them lit up at the same time. Mark, go.
so if Apple was trading for $500 a share today, and you had an opportunity to buy a share of Apple for $500, and that was the market price, would you buy it at the full price, or would you wait for it to be offered at a discount?
Well, don't they always say buy low and sell high?
Trading today for $500, and you want to buy a share of Apple. So are you going to run the risk that you won't get it, or you will get it?
I guess I'd have to see a chart.
So if the chart showed you it was worth 500 today, would you buy it at 500 even though that's the full price?
Mark, she's slippery. Okay. She has this, she's always a little difficult. To get
That's good. We love it.
Yeah.
I would have to obviously see a chart. I don't want to buy at the top of the market. I know that Apple will fall. All we need is a new president, and then I'll be able to buy it for less money.
I'm showing you the chart now, and it shows that it's been going up. It was 490 last week, and now it's 500. And the chart shows it's continuing to go up over the last 3 months. It's trading today for 500. Do you want it?
Probably not.
So you're willing to lose the property or lose the opportunity, right?
So hang on with the role play. There are thoughts. So I let me ask this question. How will that help you if the houses are going over asking price when you're basically, because the stock market never goes over the what they bid or ask or whatever they call it. I mean, that's whatever the ticker tape says. Now it may change by the moment. How does that back you into a corner and when things are going over asking price? I could see how it could work. In fact, you just gave me a great idea. So let me piggyback, Mark, and you pick in here. So you know, have you ever watched the stock market, how the prices change continually? It could be $500 for Apple, and it could go up or down every few minutes, right? Have you ever seen that, Sunny?
Yes.
That's kind of how the real estate market is right now, because the sellers basically started today at $350,000, and probably with the multiple offers that are coming in, the value is changing by the hour.
Ugh.
So, you know, I've got good news for you. You don't have to, most likely you don't have to pay full price.
Oh, good.
You'll have to pay over it. Now that is fun. I don't care who you are. That's
I like
fun. Any comment on that, Mark? Could you use that?
I've tried. You know, I think that you have to determine, is the buyer willing to spend a lot of time waiting for the perfect deal? And are they willing to risk it? Do they need to be in a house, or do they just think they might want to buy a house?
Well, okay, you're true. You're right. However, all right. So here's the other way I would go with that. Is that okay? So if they're bent on if they judge the deal. So Sonny, you want to buy something under asking price, right? Will that make you feel good?
Yes.
I just
don't want to overpay.
I got it. You don't want to overpay. So
Mhm.
I can help you with that. We're going to have to change our strategy though. We're going to have, right now I'm showing you all the new homes, all the best homes that come on the market. What we're going to have to do is go to the overpriced homes and ones that have been on the market maybe 3 months or 6 months or a year. And then you can probably make an offer less than asking price on those homes. And would that make you feel better?
Well, no, but I mean, based on the comparables that we're looking at that you showed me, there are no houses with this square footage in this price range. They're all selling for lower. So, you know, I'm paying they're asking $9,000 more than a house just like theirs that sold down the street.
Right. So based on the comparables, all right, you're saying the house is worth less. So what will happen if somebody doesn't agree with the comparables because an upward moving market, do the comparables stay or do they start to go up?
They start to go up.
Right. So if this house closes at asking price, then that means the next seller that comes on the market is going to use this house as a comparable. And so the next house you want to make an offer in this area is going to be higher or lower.
Higher. That makes sense. That actually led me down a path, just so you know. That was good. Yeah.
That came up too, because the buyers want to use comparables. Now, here's one more thing that I wanted to make sure you guys saw, remembered. I think you probably know this. You know, a lot of times when we're talking about negotiations, I ask the question, how long has it been on the market? And for the newer agents there, that's not the most important question, or I should say that's not the complete question. What you want to find out is how long has it been on the market at the current price? So I know you guys know this, look at the price history. Because let's say this house at $350,000 was listed at $450,000 for 4 months. And all of a sudden they lowered it $100,000. I know I'm giving you a wild example, although you get the drift. Does that change? Does that not reset the clock, you guys? Al, wake up.
It does. And it also, I mean, the market catches up too. So the houses that have been on the market for 5 months, the market caught up to it as well.
Well, it might have caught up some. Yes, the market could be moving up. It wouldn't have moved up 100. Here's the thing. Every time there's a decent price change, there's some agents out there, if you are having a bad day, why don't you just go look at price histories? There are some agents that use the strategy, I'm going to lower it 50 cents every day in order for it to hit MLS. It's kind of on the market watch thing, right? I don't believe that really works. I don't think every dollar you lower it is going to make a big difference, or $100 on a $400,000 property. However, what I want you to get, shoot fire, where was I going with this? What I was about to say on this thing is well, that is a total senior moment there.
Let me try something else.
I'm sorry?
Let me throw something else in from the old days. We're talking about a $5,000 or a $10,000 or a $20,000 difference. Are you taking a 30-year mortgage, and what is the cost per day going to be to you for the difference?
Well, you're reducing it to the ridiculous, which is always good. And with the low interest rates, I knew it used to be about $6 a thousand. What is it now? About $4 a thousand per month?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's a factor you should know. The challenge I have is this, you guys. What I'm seeing more and more is the agents, it's not the affordability, it's not the monthly payment, it's the psyche of going over an asking price or being aggressive on an asking price. Oh, this is where I was going. So I want to ask you the question and get your opinion on this, because I think a lot of the real estate books used to be right on this one concept. I don't think they're as right as they used to be. And that is a time activity curve. They said, and I remember Dave Knox had the beautiful videos on VHS tapes. I bought them. I still have them somewhere. I just can't find a tape player. And so it always talks about your first exposure to the market is maximum activity. And as the home sits on the market, activity curve starts to go down. Has anyone heard that before?
Yeah.
They still teach it. I don't think that's true like it used to be. Let me take you back a little bit. I've got 37 years. How many people on this call have 10 years or more? Just put it in the chat or use your microphone if you want to. 10 years or more. Cindy, you've got 30. Awesome. 25. Mark, you still look like you're a teenager. Awesome. Well, here's the thing. The internet has been very significant probably in real estate going back certainly 10 or 15 years. Where are you? Cindy, 30 years. Do you remember MLS Day? Do you remember MLS Books? We used to get the listings on MLS Day. It was Tuesdays in Fort Myers. Every Tuesday we'd go to the Ramada Inn downtown Fort Myers on the river. And the MLS committee would have all the books there. They looked like the Miami edition of the phone book. And they would be nothing but listings in there, black and white, no color pictures, only one picture and 9 up on a page. We would then go out and then we'd stand up. We had a new listing. We'd go up front. We had about 30 seconds. Hey, I've got a brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath house over here in Tanglewood. It's listed for $185. There is a pool, completely redone, seafoam green and mauve interior. Come by and take a look at it. And I'll be there having lasagna for you to see the home between 11 and 1. Now that was called a real estate tour. And that's how we got to know our properties. And basically that theory of it staying on the market started then, because once a real estate agent went through it and we formed our opinion, there was no way to reform the opinion again, because you're not going to go back and have it open again. And there's no real MLS real-time data situation. The internet has changed all that. And this is what I want you to know, because you're going to have buyers that'll be working with you that they'll see a home and they'll want to structure their offer based on how long it's been on the market. And for example, I believe and this is really hard for me to quite understand. And I haven't worked with a buyer like this. Maybe you have. If so, it'd be nice for you to share your experience. I think you said on the call last week, or maybe it was on one of our calls, that many times when buyers come in, they do not believe us when we tell them how fast the market's moving. And so what they're going to have to do is they have to lose a house or so. And so I have what's called the buyer frustration curve, which means that when they first come into our market, going back to Mark's point, motivation is key. Obviously, if they got to get a house within a weekend because they're starting at Chico's, in a week, or getting their kids in school, that's that. However, these people maybe they want to buy, they don't have to buy. So what they do is they come in and they'll test the water. Like Sunny, well, I'm going to offer 330. Well, she's not motivated. She's not even, quote, seasoned in the market. So the question is, how many homes will your buyers have to lose and still use you before they get into reality? And so what happens is the buyer may come to you and say, well, I'll tell you what, that house has been on the market, 90 days. Let's go make an offer on that. What I want you to know is that if it was on 88 days, they took the house down from here to here, it reset the clock. Because now a new set of eyeballs is looking at it, and it could have gone from overpriced to maybe correctly priced or underpriced with one price change. So days on the market only matter based on price change. I believe a significant price change starts to accumulate days on the market all over again.
Denny, let me make a couple comments and a couple questions for you.
Okay.
One, every market's different, but I think overall across the country, it's a pretty hot market, and it's definitely in the seller's favor. Here in Arizona, as of yesterday and last week's statistics, if you had a listing at 350,000 to 400,000, or excuse me, between 300,000 and 400,000, your listing would be under contract or 50% of those listings go under contract within the first 7 days.
Yep.
So that's moving quick. So if you educate, and you can break that all down by zip code, you can break it down in a lot of different ways. But from a seller's perspective, if you are the selling agent or representing the seller, how would you position them as far as accepting offers?
Okay.
If an agent called you, would you tell them that their buyer's going or the seller's going to review agents within 24 hours, 48 hours, or would you tell them go ahead and submit your best and we'll review it?
Well, I think David just had this. David in New York, I think he had multiple offers on his listing, and so I guess for me, Al, if I had a hot listing like that, and you called me, first of all, the agent probably already knows, and I would let you know, Al. Hey, look, let's say I'll slow this down. You're the first one to see it. You call me and you want to submit an offer. You as the buyer's agent, what will you do? Let me just take you step by step through this. What will you do to give your buyer every opportunity to get that house under contract? What would you do, Al?
Well, the first thing I would do, obviously, is call you as the selling agent to find out if, in fact, any offers that actually came in. And I'd also ask you when the seller was going to review agents or contracts.
Right.
And then I would take that information back to my buyer. I mean, here, you can go like Showtime and see how many appointments by day are scheduled to see a particular listing. Or you go into a home, you can see multiple cards on the kitchen counter. So you know that there's traffic, you know what's going on out there.
Okay. So how would then, you know there's going to be a lot of showings. It's going to be hot. Your buyer's already lost out on a couple of different houses. What can we do? What would you attempt to do, you guys, in order to secure this house for your buyer? Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Rosie Andrews. Actually, in Arizona, every day, that's the situation right now with our buyers. And what we're doing is when we call in, we also ask our lender to call that listing agent to assure them that my buyers, they have great credit and they're going to be, a safe bet for that. We also are waiving sometimes the appraisal. We have 10 days grace period. We make sure we order the appraisal. It's a risk to order it, early, but at least it gives you some advantage. Something else we're doing is that we're waiving home warranties. I mean, anything we can do to make us more likely to be accepted. At this point, we're doing everything we can.
That's awesome. Those are great points. Sunny on our role play today came up with an excellent point, and I don't know if you guys do this as a matter of fact. Going with Rosie's comments is you make it as close as you can into the seller's court. Like, for example, have you ever thought about it submitting an offer with the closing date and any other date in there kind of like blank and to be filled in by the seller? Or you can make a call to the agent and say, what is the seller's needs? When would they like to close? When would they like to move out? They need post-closing possession. So how can you make this all hand in glove now we haven't even talked about the number yet, right? So Rosie, you're in what market?
I'm in Scottsdale.
Okay.
In Phoenix.
Same in Arizona. So you guys are waiving or shortening contingency periods, right? So Al, let me ask you this. How many of you then would basically see if you couldn't get an offer in, it wouldn't work. How many of you would attempt to get an offer in with a very short acceptance window, thinking you're going to get it under the 15 other offers that are going to come in?
I would, if my seller was truly interested in the property and I knew that they really liked it, I would definitely let the seller know that we're submitting an offer right away, and that, as Rosie mentioned, that they've been pre-qualified and had already been through underwriting, and using Keller Mortgage, they were the appraisals out right away, and they're great at that. I would go through all those different scenarios and let them know. We would have an offer to them within an hour or whatever, hour and a half, something like that.
What about acceptance time?
I'd definitely ask that question. If I had a situation where a buyer was looking at 2 different properties and would be satisfied with either one and going back out of town, I would tell the selling agent that, look, my buyer likes this property, one other property, and they're going to be going back to California tomorrow, and they want to make a decision right away. Can we get a response back if we submit an offer today?
That's a beautiful. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I got it from you, Al. In a normal market, I don't know how much weight it carries right now when there's like an avalanche of offers. That is a great script. Go ahead and say that one more time, because I use the same thing, and I don't know where I heard it. Maybe I heard it from you. I think it's an awesome way to put a little fear of loss in the seller's mind and find out how soon, what's realistic for the sellers to respond. So do that one more time, Al.
I just mentioned to the selling agent that my buyer not only likes this house, but there's another house they also like, and being that they're here from out of state and going back tomorrow, they want to be able to put an offer in and get a response before they leave. You think you can get your buyer or seller to respond quickly if the offer is firm or at full price or whatever you come in with?
Right. You know, in not every segment in every market's moving as fast. And I know you guys know that. There is the sweet spot in the market, and you know where it is. And even 350 in our market's a little bit high in Lee County. It's close. It's close. Probably at 300, 250 down is all lightning. You go down to Naples, probably anything under 400, or maybe, Mark, you could tell me, maybe it's 450, 500 now. I don't even know, is sweet spot. However, outside the sweet spot, here's the deal. When it comes to using strategy from you now are working with the buyer, what I always did, and not that I do it, I mean, I don't work with buyers now. However, back in the days when I actually did, I would call and say, hey, Al, hey, listen, I would use the same script Al would use. Hey, listen, my buyers like your house, and you know, we're attempting to narrow it down between this house and another one. And I'm just curious, is your home still, actually, yes. Is your home still, is it still for sale? Is it still, has it sold yet? So no, just say Al, you're the listening. No,
Okay,
no, it's still on the market. Okay, so super. So, and my people are on a short timeline. Are they in town so you get an answer fast? Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. And maybe I'm just skeptical. I don't know. I would never let Al know. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm meeting with him, and we're gonna probably write on your house or another one, and I'll let you know. I never, and I already know they're gonna write on it, and I never let the other agent know that. Maybe because somewhere back in my memory, I remember I did that, and the agent went out and called and called somebody else in the office, and somebody beat me to it. I always play a little bit of cat and mouse with them, and never let them know I'm submitting an offer. As long as, like, for example, not in this market, I might let them know to wait. However, oh, Al, do you have anything coming in on it? Because if so, I mean, I don't want to waste time. My buyers have got to get, and the agent will say, no, I don't have anything else coming in. It's just a different strategy. Nowadays, I think if you're in a hot market, you need to let the other agent know to wait on the offer. The issue is, now this goes back to Al's first question. What do we do as a listing agent when we have multiple offers coming in? Was that your original question like 80 minutes ago?
Right.
Well, I'm just going to be straight up with the agents. I tell you what, buyers and sellers come and go. The agents are our colleagues, right? And I'll say, look, Al, as you know, we're going to be probably dealing with multiple offers here. So I probably, you know, in your experience, just give me your best shot right up front. Now, a good agent probably already knows not to ask stupid questions to good agents. Does that make sense? However, you can ask any question you want to maybe somebody who's not as experienced as you are, and you might want to find out that they'll let you know, obviously if, I never ask what the other offers are, because I don't even want to put somebody in that position. However, if you want to be a little Sherlock Holmes, you can. Does anybody use I talked about this on the Zoom this week with another office. You guys, are you using or seeing any escalation clauses in your contracts?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you using them?
Yes.
Are they working?
No. A year ago they worked. This year, I don't know. They're not.
All right.
as-
Few agents, Denny, using those escalation clauses today.
You say few are, Al?
I've seen them where they're putting caps as high as $25,000 over list on those.
Here's my advice, and I can role play this with you, Sonny, if you want. So, Sonny, here's the thing. Let's say you want to put. Have you heard of Have you heard about an escalation clause?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to be the buyer and say no?
No, I want you. Yes. You can say, yeah, I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, I think I've heard a little bit about it.
Yeah. So basically, the house is listed at 350, and if you wanted to go in there, there is a technique called an escalation clause that basically you can say your offer is you will top any other offer the seller gets by $1,000 up to a certain point. So that way, if you offer whatever, I'm using offer again, if your contract states 350 and another offer comes in at 355, your offer would automatically go up to 356, up to a threshold of whatever you set the threshold.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the question I want to ask, Rosie, this is what you should be doing, I think. And I'll tell you why in a second. And we'll be able to finish with this one. I'll get you to bold pivot on time. What's the most you're willing to pay for this house, Sonny? It's listed at 350. You know there's going to be multiple offers, most likely to go over asking price. So what's the most you're willing to pay?
357.
All right. So if you had an escalation clause, you would want you to go up to 357 and have it stop, right?
Yes.
And if it sold for 357,500, how would you feel?
Well, if I lost it for $500, I probably would be upset.
So that's not your top dollar then, right?
No.
What's your top dollar?
I definitely wouldn't be able to go over 360. That would be my top.
So if it sold for 360,500, how would you feel?
I wouldn't have the money to come up with it.
Now, I'd probably approach that role play a little bit weird. Because in reality, Rosie, who brings up the escalation clause, the agent or the buyer?
The buyer's agent.
Yes, the agents. Agents are shooting themselves in the foot by bringing that up. Because here's my philosophy on this. If you're willing to go up to 360 to own the house, then do it. Because escalation clauses can work, and I've seen them backfire. So you're going to have to find out whether or not they want to take the chance on losing the house. Because what will happen is this. The seller is going to see your number is lower than somebody else's. You are relying on the other agent to, number one, understand it, and to fully disclose what that buyer is willing to do. Can you see how maybe that does not happen? You might not be dealing with it as a sophisticated agent on the other side, or they may have a dog in the hunt, so to speak, and they may not really want your offer to go through, and they can clearly see that yours is lower than the other one. They may not fully disclose there's an escalation clause or explain it. I'm not saying anyone's going to do anything dishonest. However, when the seller sees 360 on there, does that not carry weight? If they're willing to do it up an escalation clause up to the certain point, get them to put that in the offer. Because if they don't, what they're doing is they want to offer as little as they can and still get it. That's like attempting to have a hole-in-one in a hurricane, guys. It's possible. However, buyers lose the house more times than not by doing that. Does that make sense, Rosie?
Yes.
Anybody want to comment on that?
Mark has a question. Do agents present their offers to sellers?
Great question, Mark. So does anybody present their offer? Mark, do you?
In this scenario, I definitely would.
You guys know via Code of Ethics you have that right?
Yes.
So that's a good point. If you didn't know that, you guys have the right to present the offer. Now, back in the olden days, I mean, I'm not going to be telling you about how we had to walk to school in the blowing snow uphill both ways. I'm just going to say we would literally drive over to the agent's house because we didn't do it electronically. There was no such thing. And we would sit and I'd go through the offer and then I would leave, or I'd sit in the driveway in my car and wait for an answer. So that's not a bad gig. Now, again, it can backfire on you. You might get pushback from the other agent because he's got four offers to present. You do have that right to present your offer. And I'll go blown up on my code of ethics. I taught it for 15 years and I believe it's in there. And if you guys already know it's in there, you can confirm it. I know that Kevin mentioned he didn't know that. So it is in one of the standards of practice of the Realtor Code of Ethics. So I would just say I know we spend a lot of time talking about buyers. That seems to be what we're dealing with. You know, I do my Zoom calls. I do 4 or 5 Zoom calls to different market centers around the country. And I'm hearing about how many multiple offers are having. That means there's multiple people unhappy. And I didn't know, and I don't think that should be the case. So anything you guys want to say? Or I do want to add one more thing before you hang up. I have a conflict coming up Thursday. I've been invited to go into a market center in Austin or San Antonio on Thursday. If they'll allow me, I'll provide a link where you can go in there. I'm going to give them going to go into detail on the 7 reasons why sellers should be on the market. Some of the stuff you've seen. If you want to be a participant and watch, and I get permission, I'll make sure, just email me. I probably won't publish the link. Just email me at Denny Delivers Gmail, and I'll send you the link, and you can be a fly in the wall and watch because it's going to start at 1 o'clock and probably only go for 30 minutes. And they'll have 30 minutes after that if we want to hop on our own Zoom. So I'll spread that around to my faithful, loyal group here, and you might get something out of that. Did anybody get any ahas today?
I did.
Thanks, Rosie.
I really enjoyed leaving the closing date open. I never thought of that, and maybe that will make a difference in my next offer. And just basically, you know, thinking outside of the box when you're talking to a client. Sometimes you get involved in the conversation, but maybe just be more the person in charge so you can guide the transaction.
Awesome. David, you get that household?
He's coming back on the 20th, he told me, and he will make a decision on the 175. I think it will budge. I hope so.
Hi, Mrs. David. I see you're on too.
Yeah, that's something I want to share too, just as a suggestion. It just helped me in a closing that I had last Friday. That in talking to the agent, found out by us closing early and doing a lease back to the seller, it made our offer be accepted. So,
Yeah, possession is a big deal. I'm sorry.
Just another angle to go at it, if that could be the case.
The number one objection I'm hearing from these super hot markets, and you can leverage this with your sellers, right? Or your buyers, I mean. A lot of people want to sell and they're afraid of not having a place to buy. So your buyers come in and allow them to, if you can get this through the lender, et cetera, and whatever, post-closing possession. If they might need 30 days, 60 days of post-closing possession and your buyers don't have to move in right away, I know that a lot of gears have to line up. That can be an awesome leg up on your buyers getting in because the seller's attempting to find a house to move into, or there's some delay, or they don't want to move the furniture before closing. Even if it's a week, it can be a real plus for your buyers if they can do that. So
I wonder if there's any issue with the lenders.
That's what I said. You got to work it out with a lender, that it's not a rental, this, that, and the other. I know there's some complications to that, Mark. Just check with your folks. Sonny, thanks so much for hosting, for being your awesome self and your You're a very hard role play. I don't know.
Wait, real quick. Bonita has a question. Did I understand you to say we can go around the listing agent and present offers directly to the sellers?
No, no, don't do that. I'm going to get killed. No, you have to work through, the agent's got to allow you to present. And I'll do the research on that, and we'll talk about that next week. I believe the code of ethic allows you cannot make the contact with that seller at all because you've got an agency relationship with another agent. No. Hey, Mark, I got an offer on your home. I'd like an opportunity to present it to your seller. And
Why would a listing agent let you do that?
well, again, if it's, I mean, I don't care if they do.
I mean, why would they? Why would they?
Why would they care?
Yeah, I mean, why? I don't think I would want a selling agent talking to my seller.
That's okay. Well, I get it. However, I'm going to double check on this.
I think
Now
you're right,
you
Dave.
got me really curious. I think the code of ethics allows it.
I think it does.
So what's the deal? Who cares? I mean, they might be, I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of agents that have been very protective, not even want anyone to talk to their sellers. It's okay. The more other people talk to your seller, the better you look because you're that professional. You're that good and you're that confident. So again, if you have any, if you want me to email you personally the answer on the code of ethics, email me.
Yes.
Denny at Denny Delivers at Gmail. I
Okay.
will find chapter and verse and answer your email so you know for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Also email me if you want the link for Thursday, Denny Delivers at Gmail, and I'll see if I get permission to send you the link. Other than that, we'll be on for next Tuesday. You guys have my number. If you don't, it's 239-851-4600. If you have any questions or a scenario you want to role play, happy to be there for you.
Thanks,
All right.
Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be careful out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.